made it. Not where we thought we'd go, but we made it. D major. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Adagietto of Mahler's Fifth Symphony, which is just this supremely lyrical, gorgeous slow movement. And this movement does sometimes actually get performed on its own. It gets pulled out of the symphony and performed as a piece of repertoire in its own right, which means that some people are often less familiar with the other movements of the symphony. The second movement especially is one of the hardest to get to grips with. The second movement has a really fragmented surface. It's very chaotic. You never really get a sense of a theme being completed. They often last for sort of 30 seconds and drop away. The movement is marked stürmisch bewegt in German, which means stormily agitated. And you really do get a sense of that on the surface as a result of all of these fragmentary themes that just build themselves up and then fizzle away, and build themselves up and then collapse into nothing. It is actually written in sonata form, which is unusual for a second movement. Usually the first movement would be reserved for that sonata form. But this sonata form is considered in technical terms a sonata failure. Sonata failure is a term that's been accepted in the theoretical world to describe a sonata form that doesn't close in the tonic. You never really achieve the tonic back. That's all it means. It doesn't necessarily mean that the work itself isn't a masterpiece or that it's not a great work. It just means that you don't get that tonic back. You can really feel the despair at this point. I mean, you've gone through kind of 10 minutes of this fragmentary surface, of this kind of chaos, and this is where we are now. Just, I think you're battered, you've been beaten. So after about 10 minutes of this stormy tension and collapse, there's a moment of real clarity that actually connects this whole movement to the finale of the symphony. There's this moment that's like the eye of the storm that really comes from nowhere, and you get this D major brass fanfare that really gives this sense of attainment finally. In formal terms, this moment is called a breakthrough. A breakthrough is a moment that comes from outside of the form. It's sort of a turning aside that takes you away from the expected trajectory, which in this case would just be total failure. So this breakthrough, or this turning aside, ultimately makes it possible for the movement to actually close back into A minor, which happens really late in the form, and offer that closure that it's been seeking. We're in a real passage where we just feel lost, because there's just fragments of melody coming from all over the place. Breakthrough. It comes out of nowhere, it comes from outside the form, and you get this D major brass fanfare. And finally, for the first time in the whole movement, you get a real sense of coherence and of attainment, and like you've reached somewhere. But it isn't where you expected to go. It's just, it was totally unrelated, but you'll take it. You'll take that attainment at this point. And finally. We made it. Not where we thought we'd go, but we made it. All of that agitated tension is being worked out here. So when you're listening to this movement, that is a real moment to look out for, this trumpet D major fanfare that just comes out of nowhere. It's a turn towards transcendence almost, and a sense in which the form can finally achieve what it's been trying to do and been sort of cycling through and working through this whole time. This moment connects the movement to the final movement of the symphony. It's a real anticipation of that finale, almost a premonition of what's to come. The moment happens in D major, and the final movement of the symphony closes in D major, so it really ties together the symphonic trajectory.